Hello, this is Miss Alma from Bruley High School. I am making this video to help you prepare for the ACT. So to begin, we're going to go to the ACT.org. We're looking for ways to practice online, so I'm going to go to Students and Parents and Test Prep. It shows me that we have Exploring Full-Length ACT Practice Test. I'm going to click on that. Going to scroll down to the bottom to practice online. I'm going to practice it timed so that you can see my test taking skills of how I determine what I'm going to flag, what I'm going to do, what I may not do, and go to mathematics, timed. Be sure that you're already aware of all your instructions. Make sure you've done this and have read them already. But you're allowed to use a calculator. It has to be a certain kind. You cannot use any version of the TI-89. You're responsible for making sure it works. You will not be provided with backup batteries if yours die. But you can bring a backup calculator. You cannot share your calculator. You cannot connect the calculator to the computer in any way. If you need to use a backup one, raise your hand and the testing staff will check it. You may only have one calculator on your workstation or in operation at a time. If your calculator you brought backs up or malfunctions, continue testing. But y'all are going to see we can do a lot of this in Desmos. If your calculator has games or other functions, you may not use those functions during the test. And you can have scratch paper, but we'll have to turn it in. When I press next, my timer will start. That's why I'm saying to make sure that you have already read these directions, so on test day, you don't have to do this. But the directions say, solve each problem, choose the correct answer. Do not linger over problems. If you're taking more than a minute on a problem, maybe flag it and come back. You're permitted to use approved calculator. You may use a calculator you choose, but some of the items may best be done without a calculator. Unless otherwise stated, the figures are not necessarily drawn to scale. The geometric figures lie in an plane, which is like an XY coordinate. The word line means a straight line, and average indicates the arithmetic mean. Question number 1. So before I even start, what I recommend you do is go to your Desmos, because Desmos is going to be the thing that will help you the most on this. The other thing that will help you is going to this tool, this wrench right here, clicking on it, and turning it into complex mode. What complex mode does for you is it lets you do imaginary numbers. It also turns numbers with a lot of digits into scientific notation, both of which are very helpful. So, at a college track meet, there are 3 jumping events. High jump, long jump, triple jump. Venn diagram shows the distribution of the number of athletes competing in each event. How many athletes are doing both high and triple, but not long jump? When you see that highlighted, that bold word not, that's the first thing you should do. If they're not doing long jump, I'm going to scratch out all the numbers that are in the long jump. Those people do not count for what I'm looking for. Now I want the ones that are both high and triple. That is 3. Next question. Function f is defined by the equation f of x equals x squared plus 5. What is f of 3 plus 1? Anytime you see equations, I would start with Desmos. Type what I see. F of x equals, what I do there, of x equals x squared plus 5. To do the squared, you can either pull up your keyboard, use this, and then type the 2, or shift 6 is your caret. What is it asking me to find? F of 3 plus 1. I'm just going to type in f of 3 plus 1, and it will give me the answer, 15. Done. Quick. Desmos is also able to be used as a regular calculator. If B is 40 and C is negative 16, what is B plus C equals the product of negative 4 and what number? So I'm going to start off by finding what B plus C is. 40 plus negative 16 is 24. So now I'm asking myself, negative 4 times what will also give me 24? I can try the answer choices, but I know that 6 times 4 is 20, so I'm going to either try negative 6 or positive 6. The negative 6 gives me the positive 24, so that's my right answer. All right, Colin takes 24 minutes to walk to school in the morning. What fraction of his 24-hour day is spent walking in the morning? This is going to take a quick conversion, but it's fine. He's using 24 minutes out of 24 hours in 24 hours, okay? I want to convert my hours to minutes first. 1 hour is that how I worked this last time? I don't think it is. Oh, 24 minutes is his walk, but I want to see how much it is in, so 24 minutes out of how many is my fraction. But what I need to do is convert and see how many minutes are in a 24-hour day. So in 24 hours, 1 hour is 60 minutes. The hours cancel, so 24 times 6 is the number of minutes in a day. 24, not times 6, but times 60. 1,440. So what is 24 out of 1,440? I'm going to put that into Desmos and let Desmos simplify the fraction for me. 24 over 1,440. It gives me a decimal, but do you see right here next to that number in this blue column part? If I click this, it will give me the simplified fraction. 1 over 60 is the correct answer. Next question. It says a certain triangle interior angles are 6x, 2x, and x. What is the value of s? What do we know about the angles of a triangle? That they add to 180. You should make sure you memorize that. So the angles of a triangle add to 180. So I'm adding 6x plus 2x plus x. Set it equal to 180. I'm going to scroll out until I find my answer. X is 20. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to clear this screen of all my writing. All right, next question. A matrices. I tried but could not figure out how in Desmos to do this. I'm not sure that it does. But for a matrix, what you're basically looking at is your positions. Just like the distributive property, if I've got this 6 on the outside, it means I'm multiplying by 6. And I want to multiply each part by 6. So 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. 6 times this 3 is 18. 6 times the 0 is 0. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. So my answer is D. I want to do a little side note here, even though this is not on the test. If you had a matrix, and you have a different sign between them, say a plus, all you're doing is doing that operation in corresponding parts. So top left is 1 plus 5, 6. Top right, 3 plus 6, 9. Bottom left is 2 plus 7, 9. Bottom right, 4 plus 8, 12. That would be my answer to this question. And I'm bringing that up only because I've seen that happen on the ACT before. Our next question. For circle O, A, B, C, D, yeah, okay. This is a lot. I'm flagging it. I don't immediately see an equation. I don't even want to read it. I'm going to flag it and come back to it later. Object is launched vertically at 33 meters per second from a 55 meter tall platform. The height of the object, h of t meters, of the object t seconds after its launch, is modeled by this equation. So I'm going to put that equation in Desmos right off the bat. The negative 4.9 t squared is talking about the amount gravity pulls downward on an object. It was launched from 30. It was launched at 30 meters per second. So that's where the 30t comes from. It was launched from a height of 55. That's where that 55 comes from. The question is now asking, what will the height be in meters of the object 3 seconds after its launch? Well, t is talking about my seconds, so I'm just going to replace the t with the 3, and it gives me my answer, 100.9. Next, given this function, f of x equals 4x squared minus 14x plus 12, and it says which of the following is equivalent. Well, if they're equivalent, and I want you to make sure that you are zoomed in, you can always get back to the normal view by clicking the house. Which one of these is equivalent? Well, if these equations are equivalent, then what will happen is they will have the exact same graph. I clearly see these are not the same graphs, so A is not right. I'm going to go to B. B is 2x minus 4 and 2x minus 3. And look at that. It is the exact same graph. That tells me B is my answer. Here's another equation. I'm going straight to Desmos. In parentheses, I have 6x plus 3y, close it, minus, open the new one, y minus 2x. Now, Desmos is giving me an error sign right here. But it tells me, try adding an equal sign to turn on this into an equation. It doesn't matter what I put it equal to. I'm just going to say equals 1. Now I'm going to try each of these expressions, and I'm looking for a matching graph. But because I had to put it equal to 0 before, I also have to keep that same number equal 0. That is not the same graph. Option B is 5x plus y. Still not the same graph. 5x plus 5y. Still not even any closer. And 8x plus 2y. They are the same graph. That is an equivalent equation. Now, I want to just show you that I could have picked any number I wanted. As long as I make them both equal to the same thing, I'll still see the same graph. Pretty cool. Bryce owns an apartment building. He charges $325 per month for each 1-bedroom and $410 per month for each 2-bedroom. He charged a total of $4,905 for the 13 apartments. How many 1-bedroom apartments does he have? I'm going to try using guess and check by checking the answers. If he had 5 and charged $325 per month, there's a total of 13 apartments. That means 8 of them would have been 2-bedroom, which is $410 a month, and he earned a total of $4,905. Actually, I don't even have to put that equals. I don't want to put that equals, because it put it here for me. Sorry, when I just do that, it types that in for me. If I had tried option B, which would have 6 and 7, I would not have gotten the right amount. So 5 was the right amount. Restaurant surveyed its customers to determine whether or not they liked hamburgers and whether or not they liked turkey burgers. Table shows the result of the survey. To the nearest 1%, what percentage of the customers like hamburgers? So I am looking at just the like hamburgers column. I don't care if they like turkey burgers or not. The total number of people that liked hamburgers was 195 out of the total number of people, 312. So 0.625, if I want to convert that to a percent, I'm going to multiply it times 100, and I get 62.5, which rounds to 63%. So it said I could not use a decimal. I needed to the nearest 1%. So that 0.5, since it's 5 or greater, rounds up to 63. Next, I love it when I see an equation. I'm going to start out with Desmos. So I have x squared minus 4x plus some number. I don't know what it is yet. I'm going to say y. No, I'm not. I'm going to try my answer choices. So I'm going to try option A, minus 21. Are my solutions 7 and negative 3? Solutions are the same as your roots. We also call them the zeros of the function, but basically it's where it crosses the x-axis. This one did have the right answer. That's my right answer. Had I put a minus 4 here for option B, you would see that my solutions are not the right things that I needed to be. The length of corresponding sides of two similar triangles have a ratio of 4 to 5. The hypotenuse of the smaller triangle is 20 inches. How many inches long is the hypotenuse of the smaller? So I'm just going to create a proportion here. So I know that it has to be a ratio of 4 to 5, which I can also write ratios as fractions. And it says the hypotenuse of the smaller is 20. So 20 over what makes this equal? I'm going to scroll out. I see that x would equal 25. So 25 is my answer. Next. So in this one, I don't have to use Desmos, but because I'm in complex mode, it would work for me. But basically, the question is more about if you know what the amplitude is. So what is the amplitude of the graph of this cosine? And they provide the graph. Amplitude is talking about your distance from the x-axis up or the distance from the x-axis down. But we use the absolute value of it. So if I look, I can see that that seems to be exactly halfway up. So 1/2 is my amplitude. Next question. A circle in standard form, XY coordinate plane, and has its center at 3, -4 and passes through 0, 0. Which of the following is the equation for that circle? I'm going to try the equations. I want it to pass through 0, 0. So that's the first thing I'm looking for. Is that circle, the part that's black, going through 0, 0? No, that's not right. Honestly, if I'm guessing and checking, I would not have even tried, I would have tried A last because it looks so different from the others. So, x minus 3, square it, plus y plus 4 squared, square it, equals 25. All right, I see that it's going through 0, 0. Now I have to see if 3, -4 is its circle. I'm just going to plot that on there so I can see what it looks like. 3, -4 puts that ordered pair right there. Doesn't that look like the circle? It's the same amount, if you count the grid lines, it's the same amount away from each part, same amount. And so the radius is the same, is what I'm trying to say, if I can find words. So it is B, that was the correct answer. For this one, square root of 112, arrow out to get out from under the radical, plus the square root of 63, arrow out to get out from under the radical, plus the square root of 175. It gives me this decimal, so I'm going to take my answer choices and see which decimal works, which has an equivalent decimal. 7 square root of 12 is not the same decimal. 7 square root of 50, still not the same decimal. I'm going to try 12 square root of 7. 12 square root of 7. Winner, winner, I got the same decimal. That's my correct answer. All right, sum of 3 positive integers that have a ratio of 5 to 3 to 2. What is the value of the smallest integer? I'm going to write this one out. If the ratio is 5 to 3 to 2, if my smallest one is 18, I need to think about what do I multiply 2 by to get 18? 9. So to keep the ratio in proportion, I'm going to multiply 3 times 9. That gives me 27. And 5 times 9, which gives me 45. It says that the sum, when you add them, should be 180. These do not add to 180. So let me try the next answer choice. 36. 2 times 18 is 36. 3 times 18 is 54. 5 times 18 is 90. When I add 90 plus 54 plus 36, I do get 180. That is my solution. Next, Jeremy reaches into a box in the closet. It contains 10 gloves that will make up 5 matching pairs. He picks 1 glove at random. So the first time he picks, he has his probability of getting any certain glove is 1 out of 10. The second pick, he picks another one. What is the probability that he has a matching pair? 1 out of 9 because there's only 9 left. So it is option A. I'm just looking at where I'm at on here. Next question. During an event, a store gave a t-shirt to every 24th customer. So if we were trying to see who all got a t-shirt, it would be multiples of 24, right? 24, 48, and I'd keep going up. All right? Then a free gift certificate to every 60th. So 60, 120. What I'm trying to do is find how many people will get both items. So we're looking at our multiples. I want to see the least common multiple, LCM. You type it just like that. It knows what Desmos knows what the LCM is. And I'm finding the LCM of 24 and 60. It tells me it is 120. So every 120 people out of 500 get both items. How many 120s do we have in 500? Let's divide 500 by 120. 4.16, which means 4 people get both items. Next question. Cameron's bookshelves has 3 books with a rating of 10, 5 books with a rating of 100, 2 books with a rating of 70. No other books on the bookshelf. What is the expected value to the nearest whole number of the rating of a book randomly selected? So, this is going to be the average, okay? We're talking about the average. 3 of them, which means I'm going to be dividing. So I can start off with a fraction bar to get that there. 3 books have a rating of 10, so I'm going to do 3 times 10. Plus 5 have a rating of 100. Plus 2 of them have a rating of 70. How many total books do I have? 3 plus 5 is 8. Plus 2 is 10, so I'm going to divide this by 10. I get 67. So my average rating is 67. The first term of a sequence is -10. The second term is 1. Each subsequent is attained by immediately adding the preceding terms. So, I still need to know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to use a add item and create a table so I can look at my numbers easier. 1 is at -10. The second term is at 1. Each term after that, and I'm looking for the 5th, so 3, 4, 5, each term after that is found by adding the previous 2 terms. So I'm going to add, for the third one, -10 plus 1, which is -9. For the fourth one, I'm adding the 2 answers before it, -9 plus 8, -8. For the fifth one, I add the -8 and the -9, -17. Which of the following values is the y value of the solution to the given system of equations? Let's type that into Desmos. So much easier than working it out by hand. We're saving a lot of time, which gives us a better chance of scoring higher because we're getting to more questions. The solution of a system is where the 2 graphs intersect. They're specifically asking me only for the y value, which is the second coordinate. Remember, the x, then y. Alphabetical order. I see that it's -2. That is my answer. Next. Okay, the next one. Some values of a function are given in a table. One of the following equations defines g. Which one? So what I'm going to do is type in the function just like I see it with the equation -2x minus 8. Okay? While my cursor is still in this same line with the equation, I go to this edit list thing, click on it, and I am going to create a table of values. So the output for -2 with this equation is -4. This here says 0, so I know this one is not right. The next equation is -x minus 8. And each time you have to create a new table of values. So create, -2 is going to -6. Still not right. Get rid of that table. The next equation is x squared plus 2. Create my table of values. -2 is still going to 6. Geez. Try the last one. The last one is 2x squared minus 8. Create my table of values. -2 goes to 0. 0 goes to -8. 1 goes to 6. 2 goes to 0. And 3 goes to 10. It all matches. So that is my correct answer. The vertex of an isosceles triangle is 40. What is the measurement of the base angles? So remember, drawings are not to scale, so I'm just drawing a triangle. It tells me that this is 40 degrees. It's isosceles, which means these are the same length, therefore these are the same angle measurements. So I'm using an X there. In Desmos, I'm going to add the 3 angles. Make sure you remember the sum of the angles of a triangle is equal to 180. I'm going to zoom out. I find my answer is 70. Easy peasy. I want to go back home after each zoom out. And you know what? I'm not going to do that right now, so I can show you why I do that. All right, equilateral triangle is inscribed inside the circle. What is the arc measure of BC? So what I see here is that this triangle is breaking my circle into 3 equal parts. How many degrees are in a circle? 360 degrees. So 360 divided by 3 parts tells me that each of these parts is 120 degrees. Next question. In a scale model where 1 coordinate unit represents 1 mile is drawn in the standard XY coordinate plane, Angelo's house is at the ordered pair 4, -3. I'm going to type 4, -3. It's going to put that point there for me. Ella's is at 4, 7. 4, 7. Put it in parentheses. Troy's is at -2, 7. Yoko's is at -2, -3. So now what I want to do, oops, I forgot my comma. Here we go. I want to see the distance between these. When I'm zoomed out, it's impossible to tell. So I'm going to zoom back in. So what this is trying to get me to do is find the area of the rectangle. So my rectangle is here. Area is base times height. My base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units times the height, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. So my area is 60. Next question. Let f be defined as the function f of x equals -9x squared. I'm going to start by typing that. F of x equals -9x squared. All right. In the standard coordinate plane, which is what I'm in, the graph of y equals f of x undergoes a transformation so that y equals f of x becomes f of x minus 4. What is this transformation? So here my vertex was at 0, 0. When I put in this transformation, my vertex is down to -4. So what it did was it shifted downward 4 units. Which of the following expressions is the height equals the height in feet of the tree shown? I am thinking SOHCAHTOA. When you have a right triangle, think SOHCAHTOA. Plus, I see that we're using trigonometric functions here. So, the angle that I'm given is 40. The hypotenuse is always the longest one. The side that it opens to is the opposite, and the side next to it that isn't the hypotenuse is the adjacent. So, the information that I'm looking to find, I'm trying to find the opposite when I know the opposite and adjacent. So if I'm looking for opposite and adjacent, I'm obviously doing tan because it's the only one that has opposite and adjacent. So for opposite and adjacent, it's going to be 18. Sorry, no. Opposite is what I don't know. Clear. So that's going to be like my X over. I want to draw. Oh, I'm erasing. Hold on, let me go back to my pen. It's going to be X over 18. So I wonder if this will work in Desmos. I don't know, actually. Let me try. I don't think it will. How did I do this? I did it with SoCatoa. Well, honestly, to tell you the truth, because I know tan's the only one I can use, I'm going with this one. I would not, if I'm guessing, check on this one. But I'm just curious if tangent. Yeah, I don't know how to enter this for real. Sorry. All right, the tangent. Yeah, I don't know how to enter this. I'm not lying to y'all. I haven't done trigonometry in a very long time because I teach mostly Algebra 1. All right, so I'm choosing tan because this one, because it looks like the others, and I know that tangent is the one that deals with the opposite and the adjacent. Next question. As shown, the number line divides between 0 and 8 into 6 equal segments, okay? So I'm dividing 8 by 6. So the length of each segment here, let me get rid of my SoCatoa. The length of each segment is about 1.33, okay? It's asking me which of the statements about the square root of 8 is true. So I'm going to calculate the square root of 8. Whoa, not there. I want to go to the next line. Square root of 8. It's at 2.82. So 0 to A is 1.33. A to B, if I add, or 0 to B is 2.66. So it's going to be between B and C because 2.8 is really close to 2.66. So it's between B and C. Next. All right, Dion flies his kite. He can only fly his kites on days with wind. He does not fly his kite every day with wind. Given for any given day, let A be that there is wind, and B is when he does not fly his kite. The following, which of the following can be done? So I would have probably, honestly, immediately done this as a flag, but it's really not that hard. So A is wind, which would be 1. B is no flying kite. What's my average of that? 0.5. So half the time is A times B. Next question. What is this equivalent to? I don't know, but I know I need to start it out as a fraction. Actually, I'm not going to, because I want to show you how to fix this if you forget to start with your fraction bar. So negative 3x cubed plus 12x. If I try to do my fraction bar, it's only going to put me under there. So what I'm going to do is highlight this whole thing, then type that fraction bar, so it moves the whole thing up to the numerator. X cubed minus x squared minus 6x. That's a crazy looking picture. What does it equal? It's not going to equal negative 2. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to see if it equals 1 over x plus 3. Not the same picture. And I'm actually going to go down here because I want a different color. I'm going to do 6 minus 3x over x plus 3. still not the same graph. D is 6 minus 3x, x minus 3. Let me change that to a minus. Whoa, what had happened here? Did I do something wrong somewhere? 6 minus 3x, 6 minus 3x, x plus 3, x minus 3. That wasn't, did I type something wrong in the original? Oh, look at here, looky here. This happens. I typed 21 instead of 12. Let me fix it and try it again. And luckily, the one that I most recently had is the correct one, D. So I didn't have to retype every answer choice. Okay, so I'm very disappointed because I paused the video because I had a phone call, but now our time is about to end. We're leaving off on number 32. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of this. If you see that you're running out of time, what you need to do is just go through your test. Like you can go to the index, let me close Desmos, and go to flagged or unanswered and just go through the unanswers and click anything. A random guess is better than nothing at all when you're running out of time. So, test time is run out. So it's over, but because of the sake of the video and making sure that y'all know what y'all are doing, I am gonna reopen it and go back and finish what I flagged and what we didn't get to. So, let me reopen. This is test 2. There was one I saw that we flagged. I don't remember which one at this point now. Oh, this one here. So let's go ahead and work through this one. Circle O shown. A, B, C, D are on the circle O. A and B are as far apart as possible. What that tells me, the longest distance from one end to the circle to the other is my diameter, okay? So that is splitting that circle in half. It says that C is halfway between A and B. So this is also a diameter. So what I've done is I've cut my circle into 4 parts. D is halfway between B and C. So that means this is now being cut, instead of just being cut into fourths, I now have 8 equal parts. What percent of area is in this part minor arc CD here, okay? So since I know it's 1/8, all I really have to do is divide 1 by 8. I get my Desmos back. Remember I said to always start off by setting it to complex mode. You'll see why later when we get to those questions. But 1 divided by 8, 1/8 of this circle is 0.125. If I times by 100, I get the percent of 12.5. All right, we did all of these. Did that one. Okay, here we go. It says the roots of a polynomial equation are 0, 2, and -5. What is the factored form? So what I'm going to do is just type in the factors that are here. Roots are the solutions, the zeros, the intersections of the x-axis. I only see 2 of them, even if I zoom out. I need 3 solutions. So I'm going to go back in and try answer B. Answer B is x times all of that. Now my solutions are -5, 0, and 2, which is what we have. B is correct. Okay, for this one, starting with the fraction bar, I'm going to type 3x minus y over x plus y equals 5/8. And then I want to find out what x over y is. And I'm not sure if this is even going to do this. No, it's not going to do this for me. So let me just do this old school by hand, because we can do some by hand still. So if you think about, I hate when I forget to get rid of that. So if you think about this, 3x minus y is equal to 5 for the numerator, and x plus y equals 8. So what I can do now instead of that, because when you multiply, you go straight across, right? So what I can do instead of that is put this as a solution to a system. Is that what I did yesterday when I worked this with my class? I don't even remember. And x plus y equals 8. All right, so x divided by y, my solution would be right here. I'm going to try, what was it? 3.25 divided by 4.75. Let's see if that works. Put it to a fraction, 13 over 19. Easy peasy. Let's go. 35 is asking about, let the slope of 3x plus 2y equal 5 is m1. That's the slope of the first equation. Second equation is cx plus 4y equals 7. So if I zoom in here, I'm seeing that these are parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope, so that tells me that their slopes are equal. Ooh, Lord, piecewise functions. I don't even remember how to enter these. It's been so long. Let's see if I can figure it out real quick. I'm sorry, y'all, that I don't remember this, and I didn't get to this one yesterday with my students. Minus x squared, 4, so I'm going to say 4. Well, let me say 4. Or should I just put like a comma? X is less than 0. I don't even know if this is working. No. Yeah, I don't remember how to do this, y'all. I'm sorry. Good luck. That's horrible to say. But let's work it out by hand. All right, so by hand on this one, I'm looking for g of negative 1. G of negative 1. So I look to my g functions here. For g that is equal to negative 1, I use this first one. So that means I'm going to put in place of the x, I'm using that first equation, that top equation for g, which is the absolute value, and my input is negative 1 plus 7. So I get 8. So now, work your way out of this parentheses. G of negative 1 equals 8, so I'm going to put an 8 for the f one. I'm looking now at my f functions. 8 is greater than 1, so I'm going to use 1 minus x. So here, I'm going to go back to, what did I say I was using? 1 minus x. 1 minus, and x is 8. I get negative 7. 37. Let f be defined by these functions. Let's go ahead and type them out. F of x equals Let me get rid of my lines. I always forget because I have to sit down on my keyboard sometimes and I forget to clear those lines out of the way of the question. I apologize. All right, so f of x is 4x plus 7. And g of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 11x plus 1. All right, what I'm looking for is when they intersect. If I zoom in and I click on one of them, notice that these points are already indicated as special points. That is where they're intersecting. I see 2 and 1.5, not 2, 15. 1.5, 13 is the same as 1.5, 13. Next, 100 tourists finishing their summer visits to Spain. The organization asked them how many cities they toured in the country. The table shows the results. Based on the population of tourists that visited Spain during the summer, what is the estimated mean number of cities toured? So, for mean, I am taking them and adding them up and dividing by the total number of tourists, which is 100. But 10 of them chose 1. So I'm going to do 10 times 1 plus 40 of them went to 2 cities. 40 times 2. Plus 50 people went to 3 cities. How many total went? 100. My mean is 2.4. 39. This is why, and I'm just going to turn it off for a second to show you. This is why I said to keep it in complex form. So if I were to type in 7 plus 4i, close it, square it, it doesn't like that I, which I don't know why, but if I put it into complex mode, now it knows what that I is, okay? It's 33 plus 56i. So keep it in a complex mode will definitely help you for anything with imaginary numbers. All right, the product of 2 complex numbers. Complex numbers means that they've got that I in them, is a real number that is irrational. Irrational numbers are radicals that cannot be simplified or have the pi symbol in them. So which of the following cannot be true? If I take any 2 rational numbers, I'm always going to get a rational number. But if I take a rational with an irrational, this would just be 2 pi, which is still going to make it irrational. So the product of, why is this one not what I was looking at a while ago? Oh my God, my phone, my watch is like going off. It's stressing me out. I just want to finish this. What cannot be true? They can't both be rational. That's the only thing I know. Next, for this one, 3e, raise it to the x. How many of you actually know what the e is for? If you don't worry. Desmos don't care. That is going to be equal to one of these. I type in ln4, that's my natural log. Is that equal to this point? Yeah, it is. Done. Bam. If I were to try the other one, 3ln12, see, I get a whole different decimal. So I got lucky, the first one was right. Next. Did we do this one? I don't remember. No, we didn't. The figure shows triangle ABC, a right isosceles triangle inscribed in circle O with a radius of 10. So if the radius is 10, that's just going halfway across. So from here to here is 10, okay? What is the length in centimeters of the arc AB? Right here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new triangle. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at this and just make it make sense. So I know that this whole part is half of that circle. And the part that is AB is half of that. So if you think about it, I've split it into 4 parts. Is an easy way to look at it. Let's see, what's the easiest way to explain this? I actually don't even know an easy way to explain this because it's been so long since I've done arc lengths, y'all. I'm sorry. The answer is 5 pi right here. And I don't remember why. AB is like 1/4 of the circle. Hey Siri, in terms of pi, what's the arc length of a full circle? No, you didn't listen to the whole question. Hey Siri, I know what pi is. Hey Siri, stop. Hey Siri, in terms of pi, what is the full length of a circle? Oh, it's 2 pi r. All right? So the circumference, the measure around, now that makes sense, is 2 pi r, right? So 2 times the pi. Actually, I'm just going to do 2 times the radius, which is 10. And I know there should be a pi on it. The full circle is 20 pi, okay? And I know that we're dividing it into what AB is 1/4 of that circle, if I split it. So what's 1/4 of 20 pi? 5 pi. Next one, Sam took X minutes to bike D miles from home to work. He returned on the same route and he took Y minutes. On the way home, his average speed was 2 times his average speed on the way to work. Isn't it funny how we're always faster to get home because we're excited to get off? Yeah. Which of the following equation gives Y in terms of X? So, I'm thinking about distance is rate times time. Distance is rate times time, okay? But X to go D distance, so this would be here, X minutes, that's my time to go D miles, times my rate, right? Returning home, Sam took the same route. He took Y minutes. So the same distance is Y minutes times 2 times the rate. So, since these are equal to each other, X rate equals 2 Y rate, I'm going to start off by getting rid of that rate. I don't like it. Cancel it out by dividing on both sides. So now that tells me that X equals 2Y. I want it in terms Y alone, in terms of X. How do I solve for Y? Y is being multiplied by 2. I divide. So it's X over 2. Oh, next one is pretty cool. because most of us don't know what this means, but we're going to figure this one out anyway because Desmos is amazing. The hyperbola is x squared over 9 minus y squared over 4. So let me go ahead and do that. X squared over 9 plus y squared over 4. Nice. Y squared over 4. I did not do this right either. Make sure you type it in right. Equals 1. Yeah, this was a minus. There we go. The second equation is y squared over 36 minus x squared over 25 equals 1. So that is that's the picture I have on my screen here. All right? It says, which of the following equations is an ellipse that intersects all 4 vertices? So I wanted to intersect at all 4 of these points. That's what I want it to look like when I type it in there. It's going to go through all of them. So let's try each equation. The first one is x squared over 9 plus y squared over 36 equals 1. Look, it does it. Yay! So option A is the right answer. Had I done one of these other ones like option B, which had a 25 in the denominator and a 4 in this denominator, it would not have touched all 4 vertices. So option A was the one that touched all 4. All right, next one. Given that f of x equals, so I'm going to start out with my graph, the cube root. For the cube root, pull up on your keyboard. Go to functions all the way down to the bottom, the nth root. I want to put a 3 there, and under the radical, 2x minus 1. Okay? What is the inverse of that? So what I wanted to do is go different. So I'm going to name this one g of x, and try the ones that's here. 1 over, and I'm going to type that cube root again. So function, scroll down to my cube root, or my root, type in a 3. And it is 2x minus 1 underneath the radical. Those do not look like opposites to me. Nope. Do we even need these? I don't even need these notations. Like they're irrelevant, just so you know. So let me try the next one. The next one has the cube root for the whole thing. So function, the cube root, and inside the radical, x plus 1 over 2. No, that doesn't look like the inverse. The inverse is like the opposite, is what I want you to think about. This next one is x cubed plus, whoa, undo that. X cubed plus 1, and I want that all to be in the numerator. So I'm going to hit my fraction bar now, over 2. That is not helping me. Let me try this one. 2x minus 1, in parentheses, 2x minus 1, close it and cube it. So the funny thing about this one is I think the fact that we're in Complex mode is making this more complicated. It is. Yeah, it did. When I take it out of complex mode, I can see that this is the opposite of that one. But let me just, it doesn't quite look right to me. Let me try the other answers again now that I'm out of complex mode. So I think complex mode messes with cube roots is what I'm honestly thinking. Let me try the C one again. X cubed plus 1, and I want all of that to be over 2. That looks like the inverse. So it's exactly the reflection of it, as if you had a line of symmetry going right through here. That's my right answer. All right, I really hope this helped y'all. Good luck.